You're listening to Professions Over Dinner with author and host Cynthia.
Chapter 1. Meet Ella Rose Chang. The Sydney harbour breeze was a pleasant welcome at just after 5 p.m, with the sunlight fading into shadows of pink and purple. Ella soaked in the local sights around her in Circular Quay as she stepped out of her office, looking back at the building sign, Collins & Co., the law firm she worked at, specializing in family law for wealthy clients. She walked with a bounce in her step as the newly appointed senior associate. Ella Rose Chang was born in Sydney to immigrant Chinese parents who worked multiple small jobs, from cleaning services to hospitality, in a variety of Chinese eateries before opening their own yum cha restaurant called Golden Lotus Heart in the center of the city in the late 80s, which proved to be a lucrative and successful business move. Her parents, Ben and Josie, came from humble beginnings, moving to Sydney with very little in their pockets, but proved that resilience, following your dreams, and hard work pays off. They helped strengthen the Chinese community by being the go-to city restaurant, showing that having a diverse background and sharing that culture in a new Western country brings people together, especially at the dinner table. Ella had always been proud of her parents and wanted to help others by using her gifted ability with words, written and spoken, to fight for their rights. Debating had always been her favorite extracurricular activity, and it was her dream to build her own law firm specializing in family law, with a specific focus on international families, adoption, refugee, and immigration rights. It was days like these that reminded her of how lucky she was to be brought up in Australia, where she could live the life she wanted and support herself through her dream job. And now she was one step closer with this promotion. Ella breathed in the fresh air. Another day, another win for her client. Working as a solicitor for a big law firm was often mentally exhausting, time-consuming, and a lengthy process, stretching out into long days. Both parties were usually quite bitter towards one another, with paperwork piling onto her desk with each new request. She had 2 phones, one for work and one for personal use. There would often be constant phone calls from her clients detailing their partner's juicy, unfaithful exploits. And while they were her priority, she had taken half a day of leave and the coming Monday off to enjoy an extra long weekend to party. Her phone buzzed and quickly breathed a sigh of relief as she realized it was only her personal phone notifying her of the messages from her friends and family saying, "Congratulations," and "Drink soon?" "Congratulations on your new role. You deserve it." She turned around to see her boss, Brendan Collins, congratulate her personally. He took over the company as one of the senior partners after his father finally retired at the age of 72. "Oh, thank you, Mr. Collins. It was lovely to be able to share this monumentous day with the team." "Please, call me Brendan. We've worked together long enough for you to drop the formalities." "Right, Brendan. You know me. I have to stick with formalities to show my respect to senior members of the company." "And Cheryl made you regret that pretty quickly during the lunch speeches," he chuckled. "Oh my goodness. I know she was joking, but I hope I didn't offend her." Ella couldn't contain her laughter. Cheryl Collins took Ella under her wing when she just graduated from university as an honours student and was impressed with her determination and wit against much older solicitors who tried to intimidate her in the courtroom. Brendan and Cheryl met in college over in the USA back in the 90s while he was studying abroad, and they have been together ever since. Ella admired their relationship and had deep respect for them as mentors. "Well, I better head off soon and get back home to Cheryl and the kids tonight. I'm in charge of dinner." Brendan quickly checks his watch for the notifications to remember to buy garlic and tomato paste for pizzas and begins to walk off towards the parking lot. "Collect with dinner. I hope those cooking lessons paid off." "So do I," Brendan laughed as he waved back at her. "Oh, your silver fox of a boss is looking fine today," a woman chimed. Ella turned around and saw her best friend Constance looking like a fabulous disco ball, holding out a Tiffany & Co. bag with Ella's name written all over it. Constance Chu has been best friends with Ella since primary school. She would be her cheerleader in debating and be the first to sign her up as the captain of whatever team, sport, or competition they were in. Ella would fend off mean boys, be her study buddy, and write polite rejection letters to Constance's suitors. They just got each other and have been inseparable ever since. "Let's get dessert first," Constance eagerly said. "We still need to go to dinner with Annie and Ellie, and don't forget we promised Auntie we wouldn't fill up beforehand." Again, Ella reminded her. "Please," Constance begged in her best cutesy voice. "Oh, all right. I know you want Alessandro to be there, but he only works every second Friday," Ella warned gently. "I have a feeling he is working tonight," Constance squealed, and the girls walked over to their favourite go-to spot, the Four Frogs Creperie. Ella smiled as she knew that Constance had the biggest crush on Alessandro, the waiter, ever since she laid eyes on him a few months ago in winter after she ordered a hot chocolate with her crepe. Alessandro was tall, lean, and muscular. He had those beautiful blue-green eyes, curly brunette hair, and sun-kissed skin. Oh, and let's not forget about that sultry French accent. Totally Constance's type, and she would get flustered every time she was there and swoon each time he spoke with her. This time, Ella was sure that today was the day Constance made her move. Otherwise, she would do it for her. Alessandro greeted them at the entrance and flashed a gorgeous smile. Constance almost fainted right then and there, if not for Ella holding onto her arm and keeping her steady. "A table for two?" he asked. "Yes, please," Ella answered. "No dates today, I see." "Lucky for me," Alessandro cheekily mentioned. He guided them to their usual table by the window and pointed out to the specials on the chalkboard and recommended the rosé to pair with it. Ella knew what she wanted already, the La Suzette, as she adored the taste of marmalade, which brought her back to her childhood, where her mother, father, and brother would make mountains of toast with different fruit toppings, together with tea, when they would have family mornings together in the school holidays. Those were simpler times. The restaurant smelt sweet and delicious, with the scent wafting over to the girls and made Ella's tummy rumble. It was an open kitchen with glass panels where you could see your crepe being made. The walls were beautifully decorated with pieces from Paris, and the mural of the Eiffel Tower brought the girls back to their trip to France, and wished to go back soon. They giggled and chatted as they reminisced about their early 20s, and smiled as each cute waiter made flirtatious glances back at them. Alessandro came back with his pen and paper on hand. "Ready for your order?" Ella quickly ordered, "Yes, the usual for me, please." Constance stammered, I would like the..." "She would like the same, single, with a glass of your recommendation," Ella finished. "Of course, excellent choice." Alessandro gathered the menu slowly and poured them a glass of water each, just enough time for the girls to admire his arm definition. Constance could feel her cheeks and the tips of her ears burning up. Ella quickly saw this and mentioned the colour of the sky, and they clinked their glasses as they watched the sunset over the horizon. Alessandro came back with their plates and set them down. "Single for you, mademoiselle." Alessandro locked eyes with Constance. "Yes," she breathed. Alessandro lit up the crepes and said, "Enjoy," as he left the two girls to chat and eat. "You need to tell him today, or else I will," Ella teased. Constance froze, but thought it through. "Okay, fine. You know what? I can do this. I'm successful and gorgeous. Who wouldn't love me?" "Yes, girl," Ella waved at Alessandro, who was already patiently waiting for them. Flashing his gorgeous smile, he asked, "Are you ready to pay?" "Actually, I wanted to say that I think you're cute and would like your number," Constance said confidently. "I thought you would never ask." Alessandro pulled out his phone and dialed Constance's number. He saved her as Cece, Ella's nickname for her. She messaged back saying, "Hey, it's Constance." And now she had him on her phone. Ella quietly paid for the meal and led Constance out, feeling so proud of her best friend finally asking for his number. "Oh my gosh, I did it!" Constance exclaimed. "Yes, you did!" Ella replied, and the girls squealed and did a little victory dance. The night went on as a fabulous blur. The girls met up with their usual crew, starting at the opera bar, and went bar hopping across the city, from the Baxter Inn, circling all the way around back to the Chinese Laundry. Luckily, Eric didn't drink and was the designated driver. He was a city fireman and was very health conscious, avoiding alcohol whenever they went out, but was always the funniest person in the room and an amazing friend to be around. "Okay, Eric, make sure to look after her," Constance called out after he dropped her back home, with Ella being the last person in the front seat. "Of course I will. And you make sure to drink some more water to hydrate yourself before bed," Eric called back. He watched Constance go through the front door before starting to drive off. "Thank you for taking us girls back home. I think we went a little too hard on the drinks," Ella said as she put her hand over her forehead, regretting the last round of shots. The streetlights looked so beautiful in the clear light, and she thought about how lucky she was to be living her dream life and spending it with her close friends. The Range Rover glided to the curb, and Eric got out of his seat to help Ella out. She grabbed his hand, but lost her footing and tripped into his muscular arms. Eric caught her with ease and lifted her back up, close to himself. "Whoa, are you sure you're going to be all right there by yourself?" Eric chuckled. "I'm a big girl. I can look after myself," Ella said with assurance as she pulled away from him. Well, I'll be right here if you need me." Eric's words trailed off as she made her way back to the apartment foyer and turned back to wave goodbye. He looked a twinge hurt, disappointed almost. Maybe she imagined it. She could still feel his gaze as she walked into the lift and selected level 23, as she glanced at him one more time before the lift doors closed. 3:30 a.m. Still buzzing from the dance floor, she headed off to take a shower so she can freshen up before her call with the parents and brother. Her time at Families First showed her different family dynamics, how to manage her emotions when dealing with tense situations, and developed a thick skin. There were moments in court that were triumphant, sighing in relief for her clients when they got full custody requests. And then there were times of heartache when she could see the children being ripped away from their parents and no one won. Ella breathed in the warm steam and let the water run down her body as it relieved the tensions from her muscles. Ella let those thoughts swirl around her as she dried her hair and made her way back to the sofa with a glass of Shiraz and kicked off her slippers as she dialed her parents from the tablet. As the video dialed, her thoughts drifted back to how thankful she was to her parents and how open they were for her to pursue her passion, no matter what it was. However, her grandmother from her dad's side would always nag her about when she was getting married and that her mom was being too lenient with her, and would regret not being a grandmother herself. "Ella, my Bella, how are you?" Josie, her mother, sung. It brought Ella back to the present. "Hey Mom, hey Dad, I'm great. How are you?" "We're good. Your brother is here to visit with his girlfriend," Josie chirped. "Hey sis, you look like you're doing well," Tommy beamed. The family crowded around the camera to say hi to Ella as they were on holiday in Hawaii to celebrate their 35th marriage anniversary. Of course, as soon as they booked tickets for their flight, Ella got an urgent message about a high-profile divorce case, and they requested her specifically to be on the team. course, that was not the only thing happening. Her little brother proposed to his longtime girlfriend Maisie, and this was a surprise engagement gift. Ella felt disappointed about missing out on the trip and celebrating with her family, but she was so close in getting that promotion and wanted to take on this case to prove that it wasn't just luck that got her so far in her career of choice. She promised that they would celebrate together once they got back from their holiday. It was a sunny and glorious day to be out at the beachside enjoying breakfast and drinks. How Ella wished she was over there with them to celebrate instead of being here in her apartment alone. They had a wonderful talk before having to get ready for the snorkeling session and kissed Ella goodbye. Her stomach growled and it was time for Uber Eats at her favorite Thai restaurant. Luckily, it was the weekend, and Ella didn't have to feel bad about ordering takeout for the third day in a row while binging through Singles Inferno, living vicariously through them. The clock just hit 5:30 a.m. and Ella plopped herself in her bed, checking her phone to see that Constance sent a cute selfie of them with Alessandro. She smiled knowing that they looked great together, but felt exhausted thinking about the courtship game on top of working her job. She wasn't willing to compromise her dream for a guy. It wouldn't work out. A relationship was just not in the cards for her. Thank you for listening to Professions Over Dinner. I hope you enjoyed, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Bye!